Good evening, friends. Welcome to the session for the day, the 53rd webinar of SAM 4075 Kovai, Stay Active Movement 4075 Kovai. And I am Jagannathan here, the founder of Stay Active Movement 4075, and the co-founder is Mr. Akash. So all our programs are online currently, and the online programs are totally free of cost, and we meet on every Tuesdays between 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. And today's topic is on spontaneity. So this is a series of talk which we are doing. So this is the second phase, the autonomy series. This is the third. This is the second, third spontaneity which we are carrying forward today. And and the caregiver also has challenges. So we focus on these areas, and every week we have a new topic. So the current autonomy series is built around three areas, and today we are talking about spontaneity. So the word autonomy comes from a topic called area called transaction analysis. So in transaction analysis, there are various concepts, ideas. The main aim of transaction analysis is autonomy of the individual. So they split this into three different areas. One is awareness, second is spontaneity, and the third is intimacy. Awareness, spontaneity, and intimacy. So last week we had seen this on awareness, right? So there we had a lot of questions and sharings where we discovered how aware are we and what is it that we're going to be aware of during the last 1 week. And the assignment or the task or the focus area for the 1 week was to become aware of certain patterns which get repeated in our day-to-day life. So that is where our focus was on, right? And we had agreed upon that there'll be no actions taken on these areas. It will be only to become aware of certain patterns which keeps repeating in our family or in our life. So today we'll be moving into spontaneity, right? So we'll be moving to spontaneity. Let's look at what.
Jagan,
Yes, sir.
Jagan,
Yes,
last
sir.
week I missed the awareness. Just in 2 minutes
Okay.
or 1 minute, can you say what is it so that I can continue with the spontaneity?
Yes, sir. Sir, awareness is becoming aware, just becoming aware. Becoming aware of what is happening around us, becoming aware of the way how we respond to other people, becoming aware of how we respond or react, becoming aware of what choice of words we have, becoming aware of which ego state are we always uh, communicating from, what is our overused ego state, becoming aware of our feelings and emotions, becoming aware of our breath, becoming aware of our body language, our facial expressions, becoming aware of the patterns which keeps repeating again and again in our day-to-day life. So it was a general awareness, sir. But this is very specific so that we can become aware of the people around us and become aware of ourselves, the way how we communicate to them. So this is what we had seen in short about awareness, sir. I will share you the questionnaire also, sir. It's a small 12 question thing. I will share it to you also onwards.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, we will
Thank
go
you.
ahead with the spontaneity.
Yes, sir. So, sir, awareness in other terms is நம்ம தமிழ்ல சொல்லணும் சார், விழித்திரு. அந்த அந்த சீக்வன்ஸ்ல வரும்ல சார், த்ரீ வேர்ட்ஸ் யூஸ் பண்ணுவாங்கல்ல. Becoming aware of where we are, what is happening around us, what is happening to us, அந்த ஏரியால தான் சார் இருந்துச்சு. So today we'll move into spontaneity. So we have created a set of questions, which we call it as the autonomy index for family leaders. So it is a diagnostic assessment based on transaction analysis, founded by Dr. Eric Byrne. Today, we'll be looking into the area of spontaneity. Um, this is a leadership diagnostic tool, not a personality test or therapy instrument. So let us be very clear on this. This is a leadership diagnostic. நம்ம எப்படி இருக்கோம், என்ன பண்றோம், அதுதான் நம்ம பார்க்க போறோம். இது ஒரு பர்சனாலிட்டி டைப்பை டிஃபைன் பண்ணறாகவோ இல்லை ஒரு தெரப்பி இன்ஸ்ட்ருமெண்ட்டாவோ கிடையாது அது. ஓகேங்களா? ஸோ அது மட்டும் நம்ம ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கலாம். அண்ட் திஸ் இஸ் நாட் கோயிங் டு டிஃபைன் who you are. So there'll be a set of questions, and we'll have to answer ourselves in the following 4 points: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And 0 is never true. நமக்கு அது ஒத்தே வராதுன்னா 0. நான் எப்பவுமே இப்படிதான் அப்படின்னு நினைச்சீங்கன்னா அது 4 போட்டுங்க. Highly matches you, 4. உங்களை மேட்சே ஆகாதுன்னா put it as 0. Sometimes கொஞ்ச நாள் இப்படி கொஞ்ச நாள் அப்படின்னு நினைச்சீங்கன்னா 2 போடுங்க. அது தகுந்தாப்புல மற்ற ரேட்டிங்ஸ் நீங்க போட்டுக்கலாம். Okay. We last time we had used similar kind of a questionnaire for awareness index. So this questionnaire is for spontaneity index. So spontaneityங்கிறது இங்க எப்படி நம்ம மெஷர் பண்றோம்? The ability to respond to a given situation. Simple அப்படி எடுத்துக்கலாம். So the first question, I can pause before reacting in emotional charged moments. கொஞ்சம் எமோஷன்ஸ் அதிகமாகுது. சார்ஜ். ஓகே. Second question, I can choose silence without feeling weak or guilty. அந்த மூமெண்ட்ல ஐ எம் ஏபிள் டு சூஸ் சைலன்ஸ். சில பேர் சைலண்டா இருந்தாலும் கூட நம்ம என்ன நினைப்போம், ஓ நம்ம பேசலன்னா தப்பா நினைப்பாங்களா, நம்ம வீக்குன்னு நினைப்பாங்களா, இல்லை கில்ட்டியா நினைப்பாங்களா, ரைட்? ஸோ இது நம்ம மைண்ட்ல ஓடுதா, ரைட்? The third one, I express firmness without becoming controlling. I express firmness without becoming controlling. ஃபர்மா இருக்கிறது வேற, கண்ட்ரோல் பண்றது வேற. B4, I change my response even if others expect the odd one. I change my response even if others expect the old one. I change my response even if others expect the old one. B6, I access playfulness without losing authority. I'm able to bring that part of me which shows that playfulness without losing control of the current situation. These are the first set of 6 questions what I have put. Would somebody would like to share or ask questions on these 6 questions? Please go ahead. Or you can use the chat box also.
Can I say something?
Yeah. Yes.
I'm not sure whether it's not a question really.
Yeah.
How do you handle this is something that I wanted to know. The sixth one, I access playfulness without losing authority.
Okay. Fine. You're asking for an answer. Okay. See, that is becoming aware. So like we had Okay, in general terms, what happens is like to show authority, what are we doing? Are we keeping a stern face, or are we putting in a lot of ifs and buts, some demands, some conditions? So, what is it that we are putting across to show our authority that we need to become aware of? One. And what is it that we are exhibiting outside by choice of words or facial expressions or body language in terms of playfulness? So that is two basic questions which we need to think about. I'm inviting you to think parallelly. You don't have to give me the answer, but you can think parallelly. The third part will be, what is it that you exhibit with different people? Probably your better half, your parent, your child, or your colleague. With whom is your authority figure more stronger? And with whom is your playfulness figure stronger? Where do you where do you find your playfulness more? So basically, what happens is, if I'm playful or smile with this person, he will take advantage of me, or I lose grip on this person. He's doing his work okay, but if I talk something personal or crack a joke with power, with designation, with the power you hold in your family, you can think of doing a shift from the situation. Old habits. D8. I say no without over explaining. There are people who say no, then they talk for another 10 minutes to validate the no. So when you say no, are you okay? Your quantity. D B9. I experiment with new ways of option of relating to our family members. So, are you having the habit of experimenting new ways of relating in your family? Probably like a simple thing can be like on a sudden evening, you take your kid out, or you bring something to eat unexpectedly. So, any way of relating to your family members. B10, I remain adult even when others are not. Here, we mean the transactional analysis adult. Do you think in a mature way? Do you think in the current situation, the here and now, are you able to take important decisions in the current scenario? So that is what we mean by adult here. I remain adult even when others are not. B11. I feel I have options in how I lead my family. Do you feel you are stuck, not having options of leading your family? There have been times, yes, we get stuck up, we don't know what to do or how to mend things. We still sit in the same pattern, what we were doing 10 years back or what my father was doing. So if you feel I have options in how I lead my family, then your score is different. I act based on present reality rather than past conditioning. So are you in touch with the current reality, today's scenario? For example, before COVID, things were different. Post COVID, things are different. People who are not adaptable to Zoom or their age which they are in. So now, if you look at again these second set of questions, all the 12 questions are focusing on the spontaneity. How flexible are you? Okay. How adaptable are you in taking things across? So any sharings or questions on these second set of questions? We have something in the chat. Is there? Okay. Fine. I think there was a net lag somewhere in between, but now it is right. So any sharing on these thoughts?
The B10 question, wherein it talks about I remain adult even when others are not. Are we really, is this more about when there are challenging situations, or in general we are talking about it?
For the way things work, something is not.
Sir, you are on mute.
Yeah. Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes. You asked about B10, that question. Remember, last time we spoke about ego states. There was one question about are you aware of the ego state from which you communicate? So that time we had uh, told like there are three ego states. One is the parent ego state, adult ego state, and third one the child ego state. The parent ego state is the ego state which contains all copied behaviors, copied messages from people who took care of us or people who were around us. These we called as the parental messages. Along with came the thinking, feeling, and behavior of the figures who are around us. Right? The third one is the child ego state, which is our original feeling when we were small. Right? These feelings are even experienced by us even when we are adult. So those are our original feelings. Even in the child ego state, there is a set of thinking, feeling, and behavior. We behave like a child. We behave uh, when we were small. Even now, when we eat ice creams, we experience a kind of feeling and a sensation which we had experienced when we were young. Now, parent is one, child is third. In between, we got the adult. Adult is your independent self. your original self which to the situation. So it is very appropriate. It is helping you to move ahead, right? So here what the statement says is, I remain adult even when others are not. They might be talking about arguing, they might be fighting, they might be behaving in a childish way, right? They might either be from the parent or from the child, but you are there in your adult. An adult functions by processing data, right? But that processing involves the current situation, the people around, and the way in which they are responding or talking. So, are you there as an adult, not being influenced by the parent behavior or the child behavior or the other person, and you still hold ground and you take charge of what is happening around you? So, that is what we mean by remaining adult, being clear in the objective. Say, probably if you have a work experience or you're working in an organization, it's like a team leader focusing on the goal or the objective of the meeting, and people throwing in a lot of questions, some tantrums, somebody shouting, somebody arguing, somebody up giving a round of applause, right? You still hold your ground as the team leader. You want to finish the team meeting in a productive way. So that is what we mean here by remaining an adult when others are not. Not all people in the family move to the parent or the child. There might be also people who will be also an adult taking care of the situation. Say, for example, somebody in the family is getting married and you're sitting for a budget. Normally, the bride or the bridegroom, they only tell the wish because they are not the ones who are going to invest the money. It will definitely be the parents or the grandparents who will have to take it from the saving or go for a loan, right? So let's say somebody says we will call 500 people for the wedding. There comes the challenge. Then you start putting a list of who are the 500 people you're going to invite. By the time you come to 500, you still got another 3, 4 pages of people whom you need to do, right? Verification, then discussion. Somebody who's not involved in the money will always say, another 300 people, no, let us take a call. Somebody who's involved in getting the money for the next 300 people will always think a plate costs $1,000. If I'm going to bring another 300 people, it is going to increase by n amount, right? So you see how the dynamics changes in the thinking pattern even when calculating for 300 plates. Now you say, okay, we'll reduce all these people. Then comes your father or your grandfather who says, no, 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 we need to call everybody. You are the first son in our family. You need to call everybody. This is a first wedding happening in our family. Don't worry, we'll get money, we'll somehow. Then you start asking questions. See, I'm earning this much of money. How will we repay it? All these kind of logical sequence questions will come from the adult. Value-based suggestions, value-based questions, value-based ideas starts coming from the parent, and emotional tantrums, uh, 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 all kind of things comes from the role of an adult in this kind of situation. Conveyed what is the role of the adult here means. Thank you. So you got your scores. Uh, as I told you a few minutes back at the end of the at the beginning of the session, there is nothing to evaluate you here. It's only to give you an awareness where your leadership is free. When we say your leadership is free, is where you are yourself, and where is the place you have borrowed things, you have got things from the other people. Okay. So you need to be aware of where you are good, where you need improvement. That is it. The scores have got nothing to do with your image, right? All these things can be changed probably the moment you take a decision. I will start doing this. You are a changed person. You don't have to stick on this. All these questions and the scorings are only for your awareness so that you know what level you are in and where you need to move about. That's it. This is not a permanent seat. This is not a permanent title. This is something which is flexible. Based on your involvement and interest, things can start changing and definitely will change. Okay. If your score is script locked, you have a set of, okay, what is really going on? If your score is between 0 to 16, what is really going on? Simple. Leader knows only one move per situation. Leader knows only one move per situation. Fear of loss of control. You have fear that you lose control. And as I told you earlier, the ego state rigidity. You always communicate from one ego state. Either you always ask logical questions or always you put into the situation lot of values, lot of old storages, baggages, things like that. Right? You're always playful where you don't take any seriousness of the situation. So it is something like a new actor who comes in and he knows only one dance step. Right? There are people who are surveyed in the industry with one or two dance steps and one or two styles. So this is what really goes on. Your script is locked. You only have those things. You go as per the script. And the first point is very, very important. Leaders know only one move per situation. For each situation, you have one move. That is it. You don't have a range of options. So the observable behaviors are, this is the only way it works. இப்படிதான்ப்பா work ஆகும். இப்படிதான் பண்ணணும். This is what we have been doing in our family always, and this is how it works. And the reactions from the other person is very predictable. And they also can predict you, oh, this is the situation. This is the way how the person will respond or react. It is all very predictable because we are script locked. In this situation, this is what action we'll do and this is what result. It has been there for ages in our family. So this is where your scores will be between 0 to 16. Emotionally justification of rigidity, right? And you always have a emotional justification of being rigid. Why are you always strict? Strict இருந்தா family run பண்ண முடியும். Only if we are strict we'll be able to run our family, right? Oh, so there's always an emotional justification, right? Whenever we see rigidity in our family. See, whenever we are talking about examples, think about your family, think about your cousin's family, think about your friend's family. There you'll be able to place people who will be showing these kind of behaviors. I still remember, like, when I was in my second year of college, every Sunday we used to be on the ground. So every Saturday we used to go to our friend's house to call to inform them about tomorrow's match, everything. I had one typical friend who would be in his house, but the moment we go to his house, his grandfather will say, அவன் இப்பதான்ப்பா அவங்க அப்பா கூட எங்கேயோ வெளியே போனான். Just now he went out with his father. I will tell him when he comes. You tell me what has to be told. I will tell him tomorrow morning, VOC Park ground, 7 o'clock match, tell him to be there by 6:45. he'll say yes, yes, right? But three matches, this guy didn't come on Sunday. Then finally, when we were able to meet him some days later, then only we came to know that his grandfather will always say the same thing and he'll never let his grandson out of the house. Then once he knew about this, there was a big fight in his house. And you know what his grandfather said? Life is more important than game, which means you need to study well. This is the way how your father has come to this level in his life. Look at the position he is currently in his organization. You see how the emotional justification comes in when you're a strict person. So these are some things which you need to think about when you are when you start understanding things. These are things which you need to think about. Go back to your earlier life, look into your relatives' life, look into your neighbor's life, how people are. The next set of scores are between 17 to 32. What really going on? Leaders can change when calm. See, people between 17 to 32 right now, if you are calm, you can change. Leaders can change when calm. Reverts under pressure. But when you are under pressure, you start going back into your original thought process or action process. You revert back to your original self or the patterned self under pressure. As far as you are calm, you are able to handle things. Choice collapses in conflict. Choice collapses in conflict. When a conflict comes up, either internally or externally, the power of having a choice or choosing what you want collapses. Then people like this say, I tried. I'm sorry, there's some trouble at my end, I think. The line has gone and come back twice. Okay. So these are people when they go for any training program or coaching program. So, so that is the score for 17 to 32. You are good because when you're calm, you have a choice of making options. The only challenge which comes across is when under pressure, what do you do? And for people with the score of 33 to 48, what's really going on? Leader has access to all ego states. Remember, we spoke about the ego states. The leader has access to all ego states. Nirmalji, this will answer your question again. Leaders have access to all ego states. When they need to be in the parent, they are there in the parent. When they need to be in the adult, they are able to move to the adult. When they want to move to the child, they are able to move to the child. They can respond flexibly and models behavioral freedom. They have a freedom of changing their behavior, the freedom to choose their behavior in the current situation, in whatever situation they are in. So the observable behaviors, these are people who give surprise, okay, in a healthy way to the family, surprises family in healthy ways, like coming home early, um, giving them more of positive recognition, helping other people in the household chores once in a while, even though it's not their responsibility or duty in the given task. They give small, small surprises. Break cycles without drama. Remember, we were talking about the first session where you need to become aware. So we had suggested you to become aware of any cycles or any repeated patterns. These people are able to break the cycles or the patterns without any drama or when we say drama, without shouting, much of shouting and fair. So they know how to handle things and how to be in this situation. They are comfortable with uncertainty. Remember, the observable behaviors are different for different levels. Here, the comfortable they are comfortable with the uncertainty. They take things on the go. They are able to take decisions, and they are able to sort things out. They are ready to face challenges and difficult situations. So here we say the conscious, this 33 to 48 score is the conscious leadership capacity. This is the conditional freedom. You have conditional freedom when your score is between 17 to 32, and when your score is between 0 to 16, your script is locked. You behave in certain typical patterns. You have certain typical response or reactions to the situation. So our objective is to excel in this continuous conscious leadership capacity where the scores are between 33 to 48. And friends, remember, as I told you earlier, these are only indications of where we are, right? The score has got nothing to do with your image or with your well-being. It shows where you are currently, probably today or this week or this month. And remember, each one of us has got the potential to change our scores and to move ahead so that we can move to the conscious leadership capacity, right? And when I was going through preparing this questionnaire and researching on this, I came upon certain areas which needs to be red flagged, right? So spontaneity red flags. Uh, we have come up with 4 red flag areas. Remember, choice is available but not permitted. You know what the choice is, but the choice is not permitted in your situation. Here, freedom exists in theory, not in practice. How many families are there where the father says, I've given full freedom to my son. For what? To take his shirt. But what type of shirt, what cost, everything the father decides, and the son can only take the shirt based on the color of his choice, not on the design or the quality. There are a lot of examples which we have gone through in our life. These spontaneity red flags. Red flag 1, duty over choice. There are people who keep duty first, choice later. This is how things have to be done. Let's look at this. Decisions framed as should, must, and have tos. I should do this. We should do this. We must do this. And we have to do this. Whenever you use a word should, must, or have to, it means you're coming from your parent ego still. Just be aware of this. People who put in duty over choice sacrifice they sacrifice rewarded more than honesty. You sacrifice, you are rewarded. Your honesty is not rewarded. Sacrifice is rewarded. Guilt used as governance, right? The emotion of guilt, the feeling of guilt is used as a governance. People make you to feel guilty, or you are made to feel guilty, and that governs the situation because duty is first. Simple example, என்னப்பா நீ இப்படி பண்ணிட்டியா உன் மேல எவ்வளவு நம்பிக்கை வச்சிருந்த? A simple statement, I trusted you so much, you did it like this. Okay. In TA terms, these are injunctions running the show. And remember, we have spoken about injunctions also in our previous programs. Injunctions are nothing but the don'ts in your life. Don't do this, don't do that, don't think, don't feel, right? And no permission to choose differently. The permission to choose differently is missing, right? So this is red flag R1. We call it as the duty over choice. You don't give importance to choice, you give importance to duty because it is a parental message which is in our head. Should, must, and have to. The red flag R2, fear of what will people say. மத்தவங்க என்ன சொல்லுவாங்க. Extended family approval drives decisions. Extended family approvals drives decisions. It is not you, nor your son, nor your better half. It is somebody outside, somebody related. Okay. They decide the approvals. Image management overrides well-being. You feel like not going outside, but just because you have to be somewhere in your relatives function, you put makeup, everything, you dress well and you go there, but you go with a heavy heart. Just because you want to be there, you give a fake smile which people immediately understand. Okay. Right? Here, we don't give importance to our well-being, we give importance to our image. Shame replaces conscience. Shame replaces conscience because what's running in your head is the other people. What will they say? What will they think of me? All these kind of questions. You are not giving importance to your own self, your own conscience. Sometimes we don't like to do a particular thing, but just for the sake of somebody else, we do it. Let's take a general example, people who smoke. Out of 10 people, only 2 people go straight away with an interest. Around 3 people go into smoking habit just because somebody has told them it will solve problems. The balance 5% or 50% or the five people will go because they need acceptance in their gang of friends who smoke. So just because they wanted to take care of other people, their opinions, these people lose their lives. In TA terms, external parent authority dominates. The parent figure from outside dominates more. Spontaneity outsourced to society. Your here and now, your ability to be in the here and now and to be spontaneous is missing. It is outsourced to the society because the society controls you. The way how you behave in a wedding, the way how you smile, the way how you shake hands. Are you original? You can smile in a wedding, you can shake hands in a wedding. Are you original? Are you doing it from your heart? Are you doing it just because somebody told you to do it and somebody is watching you, you are doing it? The third red flag is emotional over control. Leader stays calm but unreachable. When we say unreachable, it is not the communicating parameter getting emotionally connected. The leader is calm, but unreachable, is not able to understand the emotions. Expression seen as instability. The leader thinks that expressing any feeling or emotion means the leader is unstable. Playfulness limited to children only. Sometimes there are leaders who are playful, jovial when they talk to the children, but when it's talk to the youth or the senior people, they are always very strict, stringent, because to them, being strict is having control over things, and being playful to the children, only then children will come to them. Again, they think in terms of power, emotional over control. So in TA terms, we call it as the free child is suppressed and adapted child is rewarded. The natural ability to express things is suppressed, and we adapt ourselves to the situation so that we get a good name. That is more rewarded. The red flag S4, crisis only flexibility, which is nothing but only when something happens, a critical situation comes up, you become flexible. Change happens only after breakdown. Like somebody says, your car is due for service, it's more than 6 months. We don't do anything about the car. One fine day it doesn't stop, then immediately we start working on the service part. We call the service engineer, we book the car to be towed, everything done. We look like a great executionist, but the change comes only after the breakdown. Apologies post damage, not pre-awareness. And these people are good at taking apologies or giving apologies to the other person after things are done. So the amount of effort they put in for apologizing after the incident has happened, just a small percentage of this can be put to the pre-awareness stage, which can bring in a lot of change. Why didn't you say earlier culture? Now these people have a culture where they always say, why didn't you tell me earlier? I would have done this, I would have done that. All those things they'll say, right? So these are the leaders who are crisis only flexibility. TA translation, spontaneity activated only under threat. Their spontaneity is activated only under threat, right? Only when something critical comes, they work more creatively. When they have ample time, they never work. You've seen these kind of people. So now what happens in a family? They just don't take any decisions. They postpone the decision or they avoid the situation. Things like this can happen. But when something comes up very critical, they are there. Now we might be thinking why these people don't do anything before these things go up to a level where it becomes a critical situation. So with that, we come to the end of the 4 flags. Now, the rule of the game: 1 week, one talk, one context, one observable behavior. So this week we are going to focus on one thing. The objective is increase choice in real time. Right? You can increase your choice of response. You can increase your choice of answers. You can increase your choice of anything in your forthcoming week. Our focus is only on that. So you will think about the patterns I will interrupt. What you will interrupt, think about the patterns you will interrupt. The automatic response I want to disrupt is example. See, remember the last session we told you to be aware of your automatic responses or patterns. Here, now we are going to break these automatic patterns or responses. The automatic response I want to disrupt is, for example, whenever critical situation comes up, you raise your voice or you withdraw from that situation or you start over explaining or rescuing somebody from a certain situation. So now if these are some of the patterns which you have identified in the last 1 week, what is the pattern you will interrupt? Focus on one of these things or one of the patterns what I've identified. Now, you need to have various other options. What will you do? Say, for example, you are going to your office, you come down to take your bike is punctured. What are the options? You can call the puncture guy, put the puncture, move, or you can book a call taxi, or you can take an auto, or you can call a rapido, or you can tell one of your neighbors or friends to come and pick you up and drop you in your office. So many options are there. The same way, what is that one automatic response you want to disrupt? And for the disruption, what are the choices you have? That is what you will be focusing on this week. So some spontaneity micro action, you can choose one from the following action. These are just only the indicators. You can think more, you can create your own set of disruptive things so that you have more options. So this week I will consciously practice pause 3 seconds before responding. Any critical situation, before I answer to somebody, I pause for 3 seconds, then I respond to them. I pause for 3 seconds, then I respond to them. Right? Just take a 3-second pause. 1, 2, 3, then respond. Because by the time we'll definitely get a different sort of a communication. Ask one adult question, which means ask one data related question. What time did it happen? How many days will it take? Right? Bring in some numeric into that question. That's it. Keep it simple. The third option what you have is say less than usual. You are a person who's used to talking for a very long time, or whenever a question is asked, you are very flowery in your language, you talk more. Probably you can say less than what you're saying. Right? So that is your third option. 4, change your tone, not content. Change your tone, not content. If you always have the habit of raising your voice, probably you can think about lowering down. Probably if you're always a low volume speaker, you can raise your voice and talk, but the content can be the same. That is one option you have. And do nothing intentionally. Something is happening, you just don't do anything intentionally, but you're aware of. Right? These are some of the things I've taken as given you as an example. Probably you can decide your own micro actions which can bring in a change of the way how we respond spontaneously. So, and one tool from TA, remember the term we used as the injunction and permission. So the permission are statements which helps you to move from your rigidity. So this is something which you can say silently to yourself. I give myself permission to respond differently, even if it feels uncomfortable. I give myself permission to respond differently, even if it feels uncomfortable. Right? So what is happening here is you are giving yourself permission to respond differently. Remember, we are talking about borrowed values, behaviors from people. So these are still in our head. These permissions help you to remove those barriers. Right? It is a simple exercise. I give myself permission to respond differently, even if it feels uncomfortable. And so by the end of this week, so the evidence of choice will be one moment I chose instead of reacted, right? One moment I chose instead of I reacted, right? You can think about many such situations, one moment every day, probably like you can focus on one moment or typical moment, right? So instead of reacting, go into the spontaneity mode where you choose your various options available to respond to that situation, right? So there you move from reaction to action. When you choose, you move from reaction to action. So here what is meant by success, very simple: choice and not outcome. Remember, this program is all about you developing your choice. executing your power to choose the choice and act on that, and not the outcome. Outcome will be different, definitely, and it will be positive. What is failure? Reverting without noticing. Going back to your old pattern without noticing it is your failure. So the thumb rule is very simple. For you to be successful, work on the choices, not the outcome. Outcome will be taken care by itself. When you fail is when you revert back without noticing, when you revert back to the old pattern. All these things, what is focusing on is to make you autonomous and to make you to come out of the rigidity so that you are able to exercise your own free will instead of being stuck to your regular pattern of reactions. Fine, friends. Uh, any questions? I'll take it up. And for people who have joined us for the first time, I'll be sharing this link in the WhatsApp group. We work with the programs on every Tuesdays, and we'll be communicating to you in a WhatsApp group so that you can join us for our weekly sessions. And we meet on every Tuesdays. Friends, any questions or suggestions?
Sir, I have one question.
Yes, ma'am. You can ask many questions, ma'am. We are there.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
My question is, you spoke about the different ego states,
Yes.
like parent, child, and adult.
Mm.
I want to understand people who are very playful by nature.
Huh.
Are they acting more out of the child state or it's something else? I'm not able to understand this actually.
Ma'am, like playfulness comes, ma'am, you can note down this name, Bernard D. Cohen. BR, I'll put in the chat. You can search for this person and you can look into his work. He has done exhaustive work on play alone, on play. And you can also look at this website, Play 14, of which I am also a member, right? They give a total different meaning of play. Play is learning, play is growth, play is where transformation happens. And these school of thoughts always talk about the playway method of learning and changing. There are a lot of other various tools also which can be utilized in the play concept. Now coming back to TA exactly, play can also be in the from the adult ego state also in the here and now. When you're playing Ludo, when you're playing chess, when you're playing football, more of strategy comes in, right? More of calculation comes in, more of tactics comes in, uh, more of teamwork comes in. These are all play. So, what decides is, or the deciding factor will be the situation, the response from the person. Is he coming out from the here and now? Is he constantly improving on the go? Or is he coming from his early childhood behavior patterns? That is where the things comes in. Okay, you're playing a chess with somebody or carom board or anything, right? Let's go back to your earliest ages. Remember, you always had a friend with whom you'll play, and always this friend of yours will cry and go just because you won. The play can be something, but the final end of the play is what determines how you use that play. So play can also be from the child ego state. So it is only we are talking only about the feelings and emotions, what happens. Is the feeling, emotion, behavior with the current scenario, it is from the adult. If it's from your early childhood days, right? And that similar thinking, feeling, and behavior happens now, then you're from your child ego state. That is what we say as, remember in one slide, the third slide of the scoring slide, we had the leader, effective leader has the option to move to the parent, adult, and the child. That is where the flexibility comes in. So you need to be that is different. You need to just understand the patterns. Probably I will share with you the ego state session. We have, I think we did it around 3-4 months back. I'll share you the link to that. If you're in the group, tomorrow I'll share it in the group. Uh, you can just go through that. You'll get more awareness.
Yeah, sir, I am in the group,
Yes, I'll
the
share it.
WhatsApp group. I'm there in the group. I've understood one thing, that a lot of it is just about being aware.
Yes,
I mean, how conscious you are about what's happening inside you, around you, also helps you to work from a adult state. That's what I've understood now.
exactly. Because that is where you get anchored in yourself.
Okay. Pretty challenging, but
Yeah, like see, it's only a shift, no? See, that is the aim of everything. Probably I am taking this subject through the lens of transaction analysis. Uh, the same thing comes from all the spiritual books. This is what happens in meditation. Be one with yourself. Be aware of yourself. You'll become aware of everybody. This is the same thing. Probably I've taken this through a lens of uh, diagrams and question answer and things like that. Right, ma'am?
yeah, very interesting, sir. Thank you. I would really want to interact with you more, but I do understand the time.
Yes, ma'am.
So, yeah.
And
But
thank you
thank you so
so.
much, sir. This is really amazing.
And probably like the next week we'll be focusing on